is an amazing human and has sent me some family heirlooms, essentially, because she knows that I'm interested in sort of textiles now, and she's preserved a lot of them over the years. And this, I don't know what this is. I know what's inside of it, but this outside quilting part is completely new to me. This part is actually like linen. I think it's very coarse, and this feels more like normal quilting cotton. So I have no idea the story here or even what it would have originally been used for. The real treasure that she sent me is inside of here. So this is a blouse or a chemise or some sort of shirt that belonged to my great grandmother Betty. I never knew her, obviously, but it's pretty likely that she would have made this herself. And I actually have her old sewing machine. I'm being crazy gentle here because this is so delicate. You can see how thin the material is. It is incredibly delicate, and the sewing is... I have no idea if that's done by machine or by hand. I am not well versed enough to be able to tell. But it is incredible how delicate it is. And it's definitely falling apart. There's definitely... It's not a wearable garment, not that I would anyway. But it is kind of beautiful to see all the different little components here. The different construction elements. There's a snap here. And, yeah. Just gonna spend a little time looking at it here in the footage. I really, really like these little floofy, flouncy little sleeve cuffs here. I think they're really lovely. How's the shoulder here? Now, I have never actually made a French seam, but I'm pretty sure that this is a French seam here. So yeah, it has snaps in the front to sort of keep it closed, but it looks like the little flouncy bits were just sort of left open, which is interesting. I wouldn't have expected that. But my guess is obviously it would have gone underneath something else anyway. I was also looking to see if it had buttons at the cuffs. I don't see any cuff button areas. I think it must just have been open and loose here. My aunt also said it had an area that had been patched. Oh yeah, quite a few. So these have been darned, I think. So very clear evidence of repair work on here. And possibly evidence of expanding it to make it larger. Maybe for use as a maternity shirt or just because people's bodies change, I don't know. That's an interesting little piece right there, yeah. Yeah, I think, well, I'm no historian myself, but it definitely looks like it was opened up and then this gusset was added in. Interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's really cool. So I have the shirt kind of folded so you can see both of these sides at the same time. Originally I said, oh, this looks like it was a gusset added to make the shirt a little bit wider at the bottom. And there's another one on the other side too, which makes sense, but it's actually much taller than the first one. So, actually I can measure this. First gusset is roughly the size of my pinky to the top. Second gusset is a pinky and a third. So I think that's even more proof that this was an after the fact alteration. Probably as, people age and grow, whether through pregnancy or just bodies change. It's really cool to be able to see that in the actual shirt itself. So I have an inkling of what she sent me inside of here, but not a firm knowledge, so let's find out. I don't know the provenance or age of these lacy bits. They seem more modern than some of the other stuff, but I guess we're gonna find out here. What's inside? Oh, she sent me a photo of this. This is, I have no idea how old this is. This looks like 70s, maybe? Belt buckle? That's a trip. Oh, wow. That's a hoot and a half. So that's what's in that one. And then, oh, this is a lovely little piece of lace. I really like these little bubbly bits. Oh boy, I'm gonna set the camera down for this one. Okay, these are what I expected they would be. This is amazing. These are cufflinks, and I don't know if they're Edwardian. I don't know what era they're from. They look pretty old. Not that that means much at all, but they are lovely. She thinks that they're a lady set because they're kind of on the smaller side. They are fabulous, and now I know what I'm going to use to close the cuffs of the shirt that I'll be making. So that is problem solved. I don't need buttons for my cuffs. I need cufflink holes. Oh, they're... Let's see if I can get... Oh, the zoom won't cooperate. But they are just lovely, and the other side is the same, so... See how small they are by my jumbo thumb here. Wow, that's pretty cool. And I don't know who they would have belonged to. Possibly my great aunt Ellie, possibly my great grandmother Betty. Ugh, who knows? These are apparently I don't know what they're called, shirt buttons, basically. Does that make sense? And oh, they're really pretty though. I don't know if they're, I think they're shell. Yeah, they're gorgeous. Or shirt collar studs. I think that's what they're called. Those are lovely. And then I don't know what these are. Little buttons. Unclear. They're beautiful, and they're... Oh, I can't quite... Yeah, there it is. They're attached to some fabric, and I have no idea what, except for that it looks like it's a contained piece of fabric, like it looks like it's meant to be how it is. And if anyone knows what this is, please let me know. 'Cause I'm a little befuddled. It's old. That's all I have. So I was most excited about my great-grandfather's nightgown, but my aunt has basically included a treasure trove. So she has a little note on here which says that this belongs to my great-great-grandmother. So this is like hella Victorian. And I'm afraid to even touch it. I know it's been altered throughout time, so it's, not in its original condition, and it's, it's lived life, it's had a long, hard life. But even just touching it right now, I can feel that there's boning inside of it, and I'm super excited. I don't even know how to handle this. This is so freaking cool. This is like the shit you go to museums to see. And nobody can because it's the time of Corona, so this is amazing. Alright, I'm gonna take a look. Alright, so I've undone the hook and eye closures that make up the front panel. So it hooks into the front. And then that's, I think, must be how you get in and out of it, a little bit at least. And then inside here, there's boning all around. I guess it's on the back. The back and sides are where the boning is. Oh, this is still the front. So this is like, okay, This is front 2.0 and here is front 1.0. This is very complicated. All right, hang on. I need to undo more here. Okay, so this is what it looks like actually opened up. So yeah, it looks like this meets in the front, and then there's a lot of hook and eyes in here. And then after it meets in the front to actually be closed, then this goes on top and is like the decorative front. So if we pull that aside and pull this aside and then pull the actual sides apart, then we get a look at the inside of this. So yeah, there's boning strips around the back and the sides. Oh, and the front. Okay, that's what I could feel. They're in the front, they're just not in the decorative part of the front. And they're pretty short, so they go well underneath the bust, I would assume. Oh, this is the natural waist, so maybe not that short. And yeah, I'm curious if this is intentional. It's fascinating to look at. It's beautifully constructed in the sense that so much time and care was taken in this. Like, there's not a raw edge to be found anywhere, even though this is completely inside, right? Like, this is... And oh, did I find a raw edge? Oh, I did. The armpit. Haha, I found you. But this is incredible. So I see here, this is the hand pinning on of the lacy edge here. On the outside. Yeah, these boning, that's interesting. I never would have thought about the fact that there would be boning on the back of them. Like, this is straight down the spine. This is definitely like the median of the human. And this is interesting. There's these little hook and eyes here, and I don't know what they would have gone to, because they don't connect to anything on this garment, unless it's like the skirt part of whatever this went to, maybe? Or a belt to keep it tight to the waist? I guess my guess would be a belt to keep this snug against the back, but I don't know. I don't know. It's really cool, though. Alright, let's take a look at some of the decorative elements. So I'm looking at the cuffs, and she must have been a fairly petite woman because these are completely sewed together. There's not like an opening or a button. So I can't get my hands through there comfortably. So she must have been quite small because I don't have particularly large hands, but yeah. It's a lace, and this is falling off. It's meant to be bound, I'm guessing. And it's really pretty. It's got like a kind of a slant to it, which is really nice. And the arms aren't particularly poofy. Part of it is being hidden by this over lacy bit. But the actual arms themselves are like medium poof, I would say. Low to medium poof. And I don't know what's up with all this flaky stuff. I think something is falling apart and rotting away in here. Some sort of fabric underneath the lace. I don't really know the details, and I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just here to learn and not ruin it further. And I'm curious about the color of this, whether it was really black originally or brown. This is sun damage. I don't know. But this is a freaking treasure. Alright, I'm gonna take a look at the back now. Alright, here's the back of the shirtwaist, blouse, jacket. I don't know what you want to call this. That shows how good I am at this game. But it is very pretty. It has like a really small little collar up here, and this is where the front starts, the shoulders here. But it has like a really nice sort of tapered lacy bit here which folds under and actually does a dual purpose of kind of hemming in one of the bottoms of the bones. So that's interesting. And I think it's really lovely. I am curious. I'm gonna measure how small the waist is. I mean, obviously it was a corseted waist, but I'm just curious what measurement my great-great-grandmother came in as. So this is wild. Yeah, I'm like looking at the paneling. So this is pretty much a straight panel, which is wild as well. I really would have thought there'd be more curvature and easing in here, but there's not. Yeah. Oh, this is really cool. Alright, I'm gonna put this away before I damage it further. Alright, the thing I was actually excited about, which pales in comparison to the Victorian shirt, is my great-grandfather's nightgown. And this is the the pleating that my aunt was like, I bet they just made reams of this stuff and then sold it, because it looks like it's just fabric. Like, it's just really, really delicate pleating. And like really, really even. So clearly industrially made. Just kind of trying to get a look at the bottom here. It's interesting that it's sewed. I was never taught to sew pleats, and I'm wondering if I should be sewing my pleats down, because it looks really nice. And it clearly helped them keep their shape over many, many years. So maybe that's the trick. Are these pleats sewn? Oh, they are. I bet these are the same thing, just turned sideways, actually. Whatever fabric that was. I bet they just turned it sideways and used it that way as well. But that's interesting. And these are plastic buttons, which I wasn't expecting, but maybe should have been. I don't know. They're definitely just like plain white plastic. I don't know if he replaced them over the years or what. So far they all seem to be the same. So it also has this matching like little lace work, and it's in like, pretty good condition, all things considered. A little, you know, life is not easy if you're lace. It's got some damage, but I'm gonna take a look at it here and kind of see what it has to say. So this is the bottom of the nightgown, and it is like, I don't even think it's ruffled. I think this is just like a really big hem. And the reason it might be a really big hem is apparently he was quite a short man. So maybe he just hemmed it. In fact, now that I look at it, he clearly did, because there's an extra buttonhole. Or, yeah, there is. He matched the extra buttonhole on the other side, which was quite clever. So he just did that, basically. Matched it up. But yeah, that's a pretty big hem. So I think he must have done that himself, because I would say that the bottom, well, hard to say. Maybe it was just, I'm trying to take, this part is already damaged, so I'm just trying to take a little peek inside. My camera would zoom or focus better at close range. I can't tell if it was, I can't tell, to be honest, but either way, it looks really nice at the bottom. Moral of the story, it looks quite nice. So yeah, it looks like the front sort of placard just continues all the way down, as do the buttons that he left on. And it looks like this one just popped off, actually. Same with this one. And again, it's the same plastic buttons. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they were just using plastic buttons. I mean, what do I know? Alright, now I want to take a look at the sleeves. So the sleeves are lovely, and also not buttoned, just like the Victorian shirt, which I don't know why that surprises me. I just always sort of expect them to be open with a button, or a series of buttons. And like, this is kind of like sleep attire, right? So maybe it's meant to be more comfortable without them, but it's that same like pleated fabric down here. So that was, I think my aunt is dead right. I think it's just, you could just buy that, and then manufacturers used it like fabric in their designs, which, why not, right? And it's a 2-panel sleeve construction. So there's a seam here, and then there's also a seam here. And, oh, looking at the back here. Oh, I thought maybe they would have matched up the pleats, but they didn't. Which proves the point, I think. But, yeah, I like the sleeves. They're so poofy. I like the fact that they have such, like, gathering here. I think it looks really nice. And, I don't know what is up with that seam. I don't know how you would call that seam. I think it looks really nice. It's almost like, piping. I have no idea. In case you hadn't gathered, I am very much a beginner at this. I'm fascinated by it, but learning as I go. So here's where the two bits connect, which is not the arm seam. Interesting. I'm gonna take a look inside. Here's the side seam, and this is about where the two sort of, we're calling them pipes, whatever you want to call them, the interesting little elements converge. Oh, come on, camera. There you are. They converge about here, which is, there's nothing particularly special happening on the inside. So I have no idea what that is, how it happened, what it means, how they did it. Just tragic, because I kind of like it, and I would like to be able to reproduce it, so I'm going to have to do a little research on that. So there you go. Thank you for watching as I delve into some family history, and thank you to my aunt for curating this stuff. It's easy to see how it could be lost very, very, very easily, so thank you. And you know what I just noticed? He wrote his initials on the inside. Isn't that sweet? Something about that makes me really happy. I know nothing about this man, really, so he could have been a real dick, but he wrote his initials on the inside of his nightgown. I think that's really sweet. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Next time I'll actually sew. Until then, be queer and make stuff.